Benelli M4. Now, I've wanted the Benelli M4 for a very, very, very long time now. When I first saw the Benelli M4, I thought it was one of the best looking semi-automatic shotguns ever. I thought I had a Sega 12, which was my first shotgun, but I thought that was more brolic than it was beautiful. This is just, it's beautiful. It's, to me, what a modern shotgun looks like. But the thing about the Benelli M4 is it is iconic in terms of being a tactical shotgun. It's weird because it just doesn't really feel like a shotgun. We have this fixed stock, which is kind of traditionally, kind of looks like a shotgun stock, but then you come down here and then you have this pistol grip. This pistol grip is just, I love it. It's this rubberized, textured material, just rubber that just, in your hand, it just grips, even when it's wet. And Peter's smiling right now because he's doing one of his weird Peter stuff. Whatever, Peter. And so, and then of course you have your rail on top of the shotgun here. You have your peep sight here in the rear, as you can see right there. And then you also have these two dots that flank it on the left and the right. And then of course, you got your front sight up here. I love the sights on this shotgun. Take a good look at the shotgun because it's not gonna live like this for very long, largely because I'm gonna freak this out. But I wanted to show the shotgun initially in its purest state, the M4 Benelli semi-automatic shotgun. So let's shoot. Yeah, I know you're watching the video and all entertained and enjoying it, but I want to talk about today's sponsor, Acre Gold. Acre wanted to show their support of the Second Amendment community by making me this rare gold bullet. And it's dope to have a company like Acre openly supporting the Second Amendment, which we all know there are a lot of companies out there who won't do that. Acre is a subscription-based platform for buying gold. Acre lets you make small monthly payments, and once your account hits a certain threshold, Acre will send a gold bar straight to your house. There's a $30, a $50, and a $100 option. Each month when your account reaches the price of a 2.5, 5, or 10 gram Acre Gold bar, Acre will then discreetly ship you a small gold bar every time your account hits that price threshold, and then credit any remainder to your next gold bar. So, if you're interested in buying gold or simply want to learn more information, you can click my affiliate link in the description section of this video. And now back to the show. All right, so I'm just gonna jump right in and talk about the recoil. The recoil on the shotgun, it's kind of hard to really give people an explanation because there's so many different types of loads that you can use whenever you're shooting a shotgun. You can have bird shot, you can have buckshot, you can have slugs. Right now, we're shooting 5 pellet, we're shooting buckshot right now. And honestly, does it kick? Yes, but it's a different type of kick. So this system on the Benelli M4 runs what they call their Argo System. I did a 30-second review on this gun and I called it, and I said it was based off of their inertia system. It's not, it's their gas system, which is basically a dual piston system, so it's gas operated. And some of their other shotguns are inertia driven, however, not this one. And the one thing I can say about this, even though it does thump, it's not uncomfortable, which is interesting because there are some shotguns, when you're getting ready to shoot them, they can seem a little uncomfortable, largely because they are. The one thing I will say about the Benelli M4, or just loading shotguns period, is the loading process. So you have this magazine tube carries 5 rounds. Now, if you're familiar with ghost loading, you know that technically speaking, you can keep 7 rounds in the gun entirely, but the magazine tube itself has 5 rounds, holds 5 rounds. And then plus 1 be 6, and if you ghost load, it's 7. I'll do a separate video on ghost loading later. But loading the actual shotgun, I'm not gonna lie, every time I do it, I think my thumb is gonna get snagged. It's one of the it's the weirdest sensation ever because you think it's gonna clip your thumb because you can feel the follower drop down on the top of my thumb. And so I think it's gonna pinch it, but it doesn't. And it's actually relatively smooth. It's kind of a smooth take in and then it just clicks and then you're good to go. I've loaded some other shotguns where every single time I loaded it, I'd get pinched a little bit, and it made me I kind of develop a PTSD from loading shotguns from that standpoint. It's smooth. And I know it sounds weird because it's a shotgun. This gun just runs really, really smooth. And the recoil impulse is, it's straight. So when I actually get on the gun, I'm here. It is straight, just back towards the shoulder and straight down the gun. The interesting thing about this gun too is it feels like a rifle. It doesn't really feel like I'm shooting a shotgun until I actually pull the trigger and you get a recoil sensation that is not akin to an actual AR or a typical rifle, but more so a shotgun. But the beautiful thing about it is, even though it has an 18-inch barrel, I can wield this thing like a rifle, and I'll show you. Like, it literally feels like you're shooting a rifle. And that's why I think this is probably why this is such an iconic tactical shotgun. I mean, the Marines have been using this gun for almost 20 years now. So it makes sense now because it feels like a rifle. It doesn't feel like a shotgun. And so it feels very natural. And there is a version of this, a tactical version, which has an adjustable stock. This one is a fixed stock. As far as aesthetics, the adjustable stock looks cooler, but I kind of like the uniformity and the silhouette of this gun with the fixed stock. Now, that could change, but right now, I kind of like it as is. Another aspect of the gun from the standpoint of running this gun really fast. So with like pump shotguns, you're always limited to how fast you can actually run the pump. And there are a lot of people out there who are very skilled at doing it and can run a pump really, really fast. But everybody doesn't necessarily have the time nor the energy to learn how to run a pump with that level of speed. So instead, you get guns like the Benelli M4. So, like, man, those 5 rounds go quick, Jesus. Now, I will say that that's probably one of the biggest limitations on this gun, or I would say an aspect of the gun I really don't like, is that it only has 5 rounds. Now, you can get aftermarket mag extension tubes that allow you to hold more rounds than 5. And then also, of course, ghost loading it and so forth and so on, where you could possibly get up to about 9 rounds in an actual shotgun. To me, that changes everything. But as is, 5 rounds. Somebody can make the argument, well, it's 5 rounds to 12 gauge, and you'd be right. Another thing is the trigger. It's another thing about this gun that is very much like a rifle. A lot of shotgun triggers are kind of wonky. They feel like shotgun triggers. This trigger feels like a rifle trigger. This feels like you put this trigger in a rifle, I would not be disappointed. And then you just, look at that. It's just a single stage, but it's so smooth. Like there's no take up, nothing. And you just, You know what it reminds me of? It's like the single action trigger, honestly, on a 911, on a 1911. That's crazy. This gun really does feel like it has a trigger from a 1911. Look at that, look. Ooh. Oh, well, let's do it. Show you the trigger dry. All right. So you can see here, there's no take up. And it's just a clean, crisp break. Okay, calling it a 1911 trigger might be a bit much, actually. A clean, well-tuned version of the P30 trigger in single action mode, that's kind of what this feels like. So, that's the trigger on this bad boy. So, that's the Benelli M4. The fact that it's been this long since I've actually had one or gotten my hands on one is kind of ridiculous, because I want to say it was almost 10 years ago when I first laid my eyes on it, and I loved it, just based off the aesthetics. Now being out here and shooting it, I love it even more. And so I've always wanted to do a defensive shotgun. I'm almost positive I'm gonna base it off of this platform to build out my defensive shotgun, even though I am an AR for self-defense kind of guy. But I'm gonna take a page out of Joe Biden's book and get a shotgun. I just got a shotgun. But no, for those of you who follow my page, you probably see me shoot this shotgun with Preach. So technically this isn't my first time shooting it, so it's not the first mag or first tube. but you haven't seen me shoot it by myself, giving you my exclusive thoughts on it. I am gonna follow it up with a more extensive review, that kind of sexy cinematic review that, you know, me and Peter love to put together. But by and large, I'm definitely gonna sex this thing up. I'm gonna trick it out, and I hope you guys can follow along with the journey of this Benelli M4 and see what it turns into. I may decide to change the platform and do it on the M4 Tactical version, which has the adjustable stock. I just have to, I don't know just yet. But Benelli M4 and all of its glory. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you. Also, if you want to know where to find the I'm the Militia shirt and merchandise, click the I'm the Militia link in the description section of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, make sure you hit that bell symbol.